Hello and welcome to the Outpost Frequencies. I'm hoping you can hear us. If not, please let us know, because basically Yoda is not here and so I'm in charge of everything. So I know we usually get technical faults with Yoda, but it's going to be 10 times worse with me. Yes, and hello and welcome to the Outpost Frequencies, brought to you by thelastmovieoutpost.com for all of your movie news, reviews and everything cool about film. Joining me this evening in the British contingent of The Last Movie Outpost is Eggy Wiggy.
Hello there. Loser.
No. I haven't got batteries in it, but no, I have one as well.
Yeah, this is my son's. It was his birthday yesterday, so we bought him a Anakin lightsaber and a Darth Vader one.
Oh, nice. Is he good? Is he sort of Jedi or Sith, or is he not bothered?
He's just everything Star Wars, to be honest with you, mate.
How about now, Maddox? Can you hear us now? Bloody hell. Oh, you silly sod. Thanks, Maddox. Please don't do that, because I'm already stressing about how this is going already. All right, so... yes, right, so I think now we're all sorted and we're all ready to go. Last Movie Outpost, Frequencies, Eggy, me. Right, yeah, basically, Yoda is having a liver detox, as far as I understand, and Sean is been arrested because of comments that he made on the American History X video.
And for what he got up to at Pride event last week.
Yeah, basically I did have to what's the word? Edit down quite a lot. I think I will probably maybe bleep some of it out just to make it look like he was. No, I can't. It was bad. It was bad.
Just release the Thompson cut.
Yeah, exactly. I will do that eventually. So anyway, mate, how have you been?
I'm alright, mate. Not bad at all. Yourself?
Yeah, not bad. It's nice to, have an intelligent sounding person on here, as opposed to the, Sean doing his yokel thing and Yoda in whatever accent he does.
Wherever Yoda's from.
Okay, so I was going to talk about some of the news. Is there anything worth talking about on the site? I'm just going to have a quick look. It's been quite quiet. Oh, yeah. I mean, you wrote that up, didn't you? What's he been up to now? Remember,
that
the word of the day. I was going to say, but the word of the day is allegedly.
Oh yes, allegedly.
Because
we have to put allegedly in.
Yeah, because that will get us into trouble. But yeah, allegedly, what has he been up to now?
I don't know. I think he's just been. He's got some women or some woman who claims she's the victim of domestic abuse living with him, with her children, her young children. But the problem is he's apparently got guns and drugs just littered across his entire ranch, his house. And apparently one of the kids picked up a bullet and put it in their mouth. So I don't... He
didn't use the bullet with the extension bit, the gun.
Yeah. Frankly, he left his gun out of his mouth, but yeah. So that's the latest thing this week, anyway.
Goodness me. The other sort of genuine. Well, I say genuine news. I mean, all of it's genuine news. But I mean, what was quite sad was reading about how John Williams might be retiring. Because you say that name and just legend doesn't even cover it.
No. Yeah, amazing body of work. And I know some people saying, he's not really done anything decent for, 10 years or so, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, he's had 50 years of just A-list stuff. It doesn't matter if he's had a few bad ones.
Sorry, who's been saying that? Because, again, you're thinking, this is like one of the greatest composers. You can name any of his movies. Even you say Harry Potter and you can hear the tune. You say Star Wars, you say Superman, you say Jaws, all these movies, and Indiana, it's just hit after hit of amazing work.
Yeah. I think just some people in the comments, just say that he's not really done anything memorable over the last 10 years or so. I mean, that's fair enough. But I mean, let's be honest, the guy's he's 90 now, so he's still churning out. Whether you like the sequels or not, Ray's theme's pretty good.
Yeah, no, I do agree with that.
That's another one you can just. And I know it's a theme and not an entire, the entire soundtrack, but he's still doing pretty. I mean, it's 80 years old to be able to churn stuff out.
Because he's done Obi Wan as well. He's done the themes to Obi Wan. I mean, I must admit, the themes to Obi Wan, there's nothing there that really stands out. It was kind of a shame, like the whole Anakin Vader fight didn't have Duel of the Fates or something over the top of it, because it would have finished it off nicely. But what are you going to do? Like I say, he's 90. It's going to be a sad day when he goes, because I know his plans on living forever are going so well at the moment, but it may end at any moment. We shouldn't joke about things like that, because some people, when they go, you think, oh, fair play. When John Williams goes, that's a sad day.
Yeah, the fact he's still 90, he's obviously doing Indy 5. That's going to be his last one, so he says anyway. He's working on other music. It's just film scores, I think he's stepping away from. But man, if I live to 90, I don't want to be working. I don't even want to be working now, and I'm 47.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, completely agree with you, 100% there.
Yeah.
And so, talking of memorable scores, obviously we're talking about Star Wars. Now, this week we had the end of Obi Wan? Was it this week?
Yeah, it's Wednesday. No, it's this week, Wednesday.
I did think to myself, oh, goodness me, what am I going to do to disappoint myself every Wednesday from now on?
Watch it again.
Now, the funny thing is, I put up my review. If you go to thelastmovieoutpost.com, my review was quite scathing. Now, looking at social media, again, this is split the fans in two. You have got people who love it, think it's the best thing ever, but then you have got people who, like me, thought it destroyed the canon, didn't do very well. Now, the interesting thing is when I was writing up my review, I said, oh, another 1 star. And what was your response?
What, when I saw your 1 star?
Yeah.
Well, for people that don't know, we obviously have a group chat offline so we can share that we're not doubling up on stories. Jill said, I've done a review for Obi Wan and it was 1 star. And I was like, I've just watched it. I thought it was easily a 4.5.
Yeah.
So it threw me, mate. It threw me.
So, tell us what you liked about it. The people, like I say, have probably read my review. What is it you liked about that episode?
Everything that didn't involve Reva.
Yeah.
I've read your article, and I can't disagree with most of what you've written, mate. I really can't. But I just thought that it was just, and I know it breaks canon, and I hate myself for enjoying it, but I just really enjoyed it. I was just like sitting, watching it, thinking, "Fucking hell, they've done it. They've dangled a carrot to lead everyone into wanting a second season, which is what they often do. This is what I always say about a lot of TV shows do these days. The whole episode is pretty flat, nothing happening. And then the last 10 minutes, it really peaks just to make you tune
The Walking
back
Dead was kind of like that. Yeah, a lot of the episodes of The Walking Dead, they were like quite dull, and then there was an attack, and then it was quite dull, and then it was a cliffhanger, and yeah,
that's it.
To do like that,
and that's what I thought. Yeah, and I thought they'd done that with this. I thought, do you know what, you've saved the best to last. You've literally just thrown everything out the last episode, hoping to get a second season, because people have short memories and they just go, did you see that last episode? Oh, it's amazing. What's he going to do with Qui-Gon? And are we going to get more Palpatine? And blah, blah, blah. Forgetting the fact that the 5 previous episodes were pretty average at best.
See, like I say, I don't even think pretty average covers it. To me, like I say, maybe I am just a purist and a miserable old git or whatever it might be. To me, it was about the whole thing is about the canon. The whole thing is about, you're building on characters which have been around for 40 odd years that you know and you love and you've read about and you've seen 1,000 times and everything else. And so that first meeting in Star Wars where it's like, I was the master, you were the master, and you know that there's a history behind that. But again, it's kind of one of those histories that just didn't need explaining.
No, and I think this is the problem with a lot of Star Wars. Solo is a perfect example of that. It's a film that no one needed or wanted, and they've done it again with Obi-Wan. They thought everyone was going to be lapping it up, and there are. I'm on the fence with it. I thought Episode 3 was good. Again, up in this part, that's where Vader and Ben did have a little chase in the sand dunes or whatever you want to call it, and then you had the fire thing. So it's for every good moment they have. They give you 5 shit ones.
But see, that's kind of the thing that I think to myself. That's kind of like going for a 3-course meal and having a great starter and a great main course, and then they serve you cat sick at the end. What are you going to remember? I think it's the opposite. I think the starter's good. The main course is
vile, and then they sweeten you up with a nice dessert.
But what I mean is if there's no consistency throughout the meal, you're not going to go back to the restaurant, are you? You know, if one of the courses was bad, you wouldn't do it. But again, like you say, it's funny how people just seem to have short-term memories, that they just seem to think to themselves, "Oh no way, man! The bit with Hayden and Anakin in the prequel bit was amazing," and I'm thinking, was it? It was all right, you know.
What when they was practicing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was it, episode 5, I think it was? And people were really sort of like, "Oh wow, it was great to see Hayden and Anakin," and I'm thinking, it was all right. I don't, you know, a lot of people kind of hated Anakin when he first came out and thought Hayden Christensen was crap, but now he seems to be the saviour of the Obi Wan show.
Yeah, I think it's because people are just desperate to find a reason to fall back in love with Star Wars again. So I think that's why they like Hayden. Sorry, I'm going to sneeze in a minute, mate.
Nice, thanks. I do watch this stuff in hope that it will be good. The Book of Boba Fett, I was excited about because Boba Fett is easily one of my most favourite movie characters ever. Any movie, anything. And what they did to him, they just took away all that mystery and intrigue and just, you know. And even Tamir Morrison said he wanted Boba Fett to be born badass, and he didn't really get it.
Yeah, well, we all did. Again, it goes back to the fact that the people in control of this franchise don't understand it.
No.
They don't understand it.
I was just going to say that, again, if you're doing a prequel, because I mean, somebody on Twitter said about, somebody pointed out something and said, "Oh, now you're just being nitpicky." And you're thinking, I think it's perfectly all right to be nitpicky when you are, I mean, because even George did this. If you're not paying attention to the details, then, you know, especially to a prequel, I think this is where John and Dave have done so well. John Favreau and Dave Filoni have done so well because they've created a new character. There's nothing to be nitpicky about. We've got a new character, a new Force user, new bad guys, and everything else. And okay, you know, they brought Ahsoka in and whatnot and blah blah blah, but it's all gelled together so well. I mean, because those guys are genuine Star Wars fans and absolutely love it to pieces, but also that they haven't messed with the legacy characters that much.
Yeah, it's exactly it. I mean, it's easy, isn't it? It's easy to pick up a legacy character and write more adventures for them than invent a whole new sub-world like they did with Mando.
But then, weirdly enough, it's kind of... We know Disney are about making money. At a very lesser extent, it's about the stories and everything else. They want to make money. They obviously hit a goldmine with Baby Yoda, with Grogu.
Yeah.
You know, you know, that was just printing money. And if you've got a new character like Mando, and you've got a new character like, or the new ship, Razor's Edge and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, it's all new toys, it's all new Lego, it's all new everything. It's, you know, again, it's a good way of making money. But to go back on the original characters, it doesn't make any sense in my head.
Well, it's lazy. It's it's lack of imagination. I commented on one of your reviews. I think it might have been episode 5. I said the problem is that the people that are writing this and in charge of the franchise, I mean, they never grew up with it.
No.
And they never had the toys like we did when we were kids. And they never reenacted.
What's his name? Dark Helmet had. Oh, your helmet is so big. Because we all did that, right? Right.
Well, yeah. I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, I have got 2 brothers and a sister, but like especially me and my younger brother, because there's only 2 years between us, we would spend ages in our bedroom setting up Star Wars figures on shelves and lamps, right? And then we'd create with our ships and everything. We'd create our own battles
and stories.
And there's those stories. And the problem is, you've got with these lot, Deborah Chow, obviously Kennedy, and whoever else is in charge. They've never done it. They've never invented their own stories, whether they're children or not. So they've never really been a part of it. They've just read reviews or watched the films, but they've never really immersed themselves like we did as children, which is, I think, why we're all so passionate about it.
Yeah, I still remember quite vividly. I had a little Yoda, and somebody had a Rancor, and obviously they met and battled each other until we got Yoda stuck in the Rancor's mouth and we couldn't get it out.
Would you have to wait for it to pass it out a few days later?
Yeah, Oh, I didn't think of it that way. But no, like I say, but I still remember that quite vividly as like a 6 or 7 year old, playing with my mates and doing all this. Because like you say, you were coming up with your own stories of how cool it was. And, years later, I think, well, obviously Yoda and Rancor never actually met, did they? But it was kind of, I was a kid. I was playing with my imagination. It was great fun. And to see these characters, which we've known and lived and grown up with, it was a shame to see them being treated like this.
Yes. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. The people that have done, I mean, Boba Fett, especially Kenobi, they've just got no idea what Star Wars is. And again, the whole thing is just a tick boxing exercise. With you have your token characters. We know that they have to have that these day and age. That's fine. But the whole directing and cinematography and editing, it was typical of people that have been to like film school and learnt their trade, learnt their industry from teachers. And, controversial here, George, I'll be honest with you. Most teachers are in that profession because they can't do it properly in real life. If you was good at what you did, you'd be a millionaire and you'd be in these industries, but you're teaching.
It's funny.
So it's all tick boxing exercises, and that's where there's no freedom. If you look at George Lucas. We all know how George Lucas wrote Star Wars and made Star Wars. A lot of it was on the fly, having to adapt as they went along. But you just know with these people, they've just got. Oh, I remember in teaching class.
There is an introduction, a main story. Yeah, that's right. And the main protagonist needs to go through a down period before he can come back to the end. Yeah, no, I completely agree with what you're saying. That there is that they understand the formula, but they don't understand the magic of what actually makes these things. Are you reading the chat as well? I'm just gonna sideline to that.
Go for it, man.
Some characters are best never explored. Yeah, exactly.
100%.
Yeah, like Solo was, like I say, a classic example. I actually didn't mind Solo. I thought it was all right. It was a half decent movie. It was a shame that I didn't see Phil Lord and Chris Miller finish it, and Ron Howard came in. I'd like to have seen what they would have done with it. But again, it's a story that just never needs to be told.
Yeah.
Obi Wan was dark, depressing, incredibly stupid, violated canon. That's the thing I got it from Value for Nothing. I was the same. The canon to me is the most important part. And like I say, even Lucas messed with the canon. I mean, he introduced like the midi-chlorians and stuff like that, which was just
ridiculous.
It was not needed. And if you're going to go through the prequels, there's a lot that you can pick apart with that, even Lucas doing, and it was kind of, he just needed some extra writers and stuff. And I just think Disney have made the same mistakes, and they needed people to say, right, we can do this, however, so-and-so needs to be so-and-so, because in A New Hope he says this, and that kind of thing. And again, these people just didn't do that. Mannix has also said you don't need to have had that experience to produce a good show. That is true, Mannix, that like I say, people like us who grew up with Star Wars and playing with the toys and everything else, we could have come up with something better. And no, you don't need to do that, but you do need to have just respect for the property.
Well, going back to Maddic's point now about you don't have to have experience to produce a good show. The problem is the people that are currently in charge of this, they are, again, they're a tick boxing exercise.
Yeah.
We have to have this camera angle, and we have to have these side effects, and we have to have these characters. They can't just go. They can't think outside the norm because it's just been pumped into them from the start that you need to do this, you need to do. I just want to say to them, you've clearly got talent, because some of the stuff you were doing was great. Some of the action scenes were, whether you liked the show or not, some of it was good.
Yeah.
But just relax, just go with your gut instincts. Don't make it. Don't sit there. I felt like at the end of every episode, it's like, right, 1 to 20, we accomplished all those things. Oh no, we left off number 21.
Yeah.
Let's refilm a whole scene because I didn't get the shaky cam in.
Well, you're funny enough you say about refilming stuff, because somebody, I think it was Doomcock, pointed out that these shows seemed incredibly rushed, both Boba Fett and Obi-Wan. And he said that basically John and Dave have been working on season 3 of The Mandalorian. They have postponed it until next year because they want to get the script right, they want to get the action right, and they want to make sure everything is done right about this. And it seems like these shows have been sort of like, oh, quick, Obi-Wan, yeah, we got a couple of months, let's get that filmed, and just rushed out.
Yeah, which they've had plenty of time to do it. To me, I don't think it was rushed out. I just think they've run out of ideas. I don't think they have. I don't think they have the imagination or the capability to write good scripts that make sense. I mean, the whole thing was just littered with ridiculous plot holes, and the only good parts in the show really were Vader and Ewan McGregor. With Ewan McGregor, rather. Well, get rid of Reva. She served no purpose.
Funny enough, somebody said that. He said you could have removed Reva from the whole show and it wouldn't have affected the show at all. In fact, it probably would have made it. It probably would have made it a little bit better. Like I say, I remember just somebody reading it. But it is true that because it's funny how you say about like with the filmmaking, they have to tick all the boxes, but also there's the added pressure now that there is the message and wokeism and everything else, and all of these boxes have got to be ticked as well. We've got to make sure we have representation and minorities put forward and all this kind of stuff. And so you've added all that on there. And I mean, Moses Ingram. I have seen her in a couple of other things, and she's been generally pretty good. And funny enough, editing together one of the videos, which is on the channel if you subscribe, there was this. I think it was this scene in episode 3 or 4, the one basically where they're on the hidden Sith base, which has been attacked quite successfully twice. Because it was also in the Jedi Fallen Order, so it's been attacked twice. So that made me laugh. But the scene where they're flying off and it cuts to Moses Ingram and she's just bad. She's not good at all. And it would have been great for her to get her teeth into something. And I mean, I've always said that Hayden was, I think, a pretty good actor, even though everybody sort of says Anakin was pretty crappy. The script that he had and the direction he had was crap from Lucas, and I think the guy really did well. And I think Ingram did a pretty good job for the weak ass character that she had to work with.
I think the problem I find with her, and this might be testament to her as a person, even though I have no idea what she's like, but she clearly couldn't act the part of a baddie.
No.
She wasn't intimidating, she wasn't scary or anything else like that. So every time she was trying to portray those aspects of a baddie, it just wasn't coming off very well.
I mean,
so that might just be she's perhaps a really nice person in real life and she can't do it. Yeah. But you'd think if you was going to hire someone to play a baddie, you want someone with a little bit of menace about them.
Funny enough, the classic example of this is, I'm sure I get his name, I get his first name wrong, but I want to say Giancarlo Esposito, who played Moff Gideon.
Yeah.
Brilliant actor who was menacing, he was evil, you got your teeth into him as a bad guy and you hated him for it. And he was great. Whereas Reva was just kind of there. Even the scene where she's kind of interrogating Leia was just, she can't, it was just, she was, the thing is, like I say, I don't think Moses Ingram was bad, but the character of Reva was a waste of time.
I just think either Moses Ingram hasn't got the acting chops to carry off a character like that, or whether it's just not her. I mean, let's be honest, there's a lot of actors that always play the same role over and over again. Yeah. And the guy that you said, Moff Gideon, he always plays that character. Yeah. Always, every single time. In Breaking Bad, he was the same character. He's the same character in this. He's the same character as the guy in The Boys.
Yeah.
So, perhaps it's just not her thing. Perhaps that role is just something she can't do. But she was like the Jar Jar Binks of the Obi Wan Kenobi series. The series would have been better without her.
She was completely unneeded. Hang on, Maddox. I'm just checking because I can never remember his name. What was it? No, not Obi-Wan. It's terrible that I can't remember, and because annoyingly, I actually said his name several times in a script that I did, and I kept having to go through it and get it right.
Got him?
Yeah, Giancarlo Esposito.
Right.
There you go. Yeah, Giancarlo Esposito. What is that? Maynami?
Hello.
Hello there. Yes, hello, and thank you for joining us. I wish I would worry less about checking off the boxes and prove they've got progressive and worry about more of giving us a story. This is exactly what we're saying. That it seems like, and I'm going to point the finger at Kathleen Kennedy, she seems to have an issue with Star Wars itself I kind of want to say, I mean, she was the producer over the trilogy, and no matter what you say, Disney knew that they'd messed up leaving her in charge, because when Rise of Skywalker finished, all other movies were cancelled. You know, there's kind of nothing. They had initially planned. She came out and said, we're going to release a new Disney movie every year, and I was kind of like, all right, yeah, I'm up for this. And then The Last Jedi came out, split the fans down the middle, so you loved it or hated it, and then The Rise of Skywalker did the same thing. And then since then, Disney have actually gone, right, Kathleen, don't know what you did wrong there, but we're cancelling it. But then she's still in a position of power where she's still producing stuff. And again, it's weird how Mandalorian had nothing to do with Kathleen Kennedy and was a huge hit, but both Boba Fett and Obi Wan were to do with Kathleen Kennedy, and they have again split the fans. And it seems like she is trying to tear down the fandom somehow.
Well, I think she tore it down with The Last Jedi. That's a given. And going back to you saying the fans were split, you either liked it or you hated it. No, and again, I'll say this: real fans hated it. Yeah. Modern day audiences who like the tick box exercising loved it. I mean, secretly deep down, they've probably never even seen the original trilogy. No. But what was I going to say? Yeah, so obviously Mando was a huge success, massive success. And then Mando 2, which I think was an even better season than Mando 1. And then obviously they gave us the whole Luke Skywalker at the end. Now, I'm not an emotional person by any stretch of the imagination. George, you're English as well. We're not an emotional race of people.
We just quiver our lower lip.
Exactly. I've got something in my eye, so.
Yes, that's right.
I tell you what, when that Luke Skywalker come on, I was welling up. I was like, this is amazing. And then you only got to go on YouTube. Anyone who's watching, go on YouTube and just type in like dad reactions to Luke Skywalker, and you'll see grown men our age, late 40s, just losing their shit at the appearance of Luke Skywalker.
Absolutely.
And I think it blew Kennedy's mind and literally destroyed her because she doesn't understand the franchise or the fans. She couldn't understand why people were reacting to like this. So I think her take on Obi Wan Kenobi was an attempt to capture some of that lightning in the bottle from Mandalorian. And because she doesn't understand it, she's failed. Again, once again, she's failed. So we've got 3 Star Wars movies: Solo, Boba Fett,
Rogue One,
Obi Wan Kenobi. We've got the comics that are dying on their asses. You've got these book things that she's doing. Everything she's touched that's been associated with Star Wars has died. So get rid of her.
You can't understand how somebody took a Star Wars and divided the fans so unbelievably decisively can still be in any way associated with Disney and Lucasfilm. It's beyond me. It's beyond me. Yeah. They say in Hollywood you fail up, and I mean it's incredible that they bought Star Wars for, what was it, $4 billion, wasn't it, or something like 4.02 billion.
Insane. Yeah.
They literally bought a printing press for money. They bought something which you could easily make your money back literally within the first 6 months, and yet somehow. Because you did the figures on this, didn't you? I mean, The Force Awakens made, what was it? It was over $2 billion, wasn't
it? Force Awakens was about, again, I can't exact figures, but it was something like 2.1 billion.
And then the Last Jedi was just over $1 billion, and then The Rise of Skywalker was the same.
I think Last Jedi was something like 1.1 billion, and Rise of Skywalker was like 1.3. And again, the modern day Star Wars fans will go, "Oh, it's made £1 billion. Oh, it's really good." No, hold on. Earning £1 billion with Disney or Marvel attached to the title isn't a success. It's a given. And I've said this till I'm blue in the face. It doesn't mean the film's good. It means the marketing department is good.
Yes, exactly.
That's all it means. And now, if you want to look at it properly, The Force Awakens made 2.1 billion. The next 2 films was nearly £1 billion less. That's not a success.
You say that. It always reminds me of the fact that people sort of say that obviously the more popular something is, the better it is. And it's kind of, no, because that means Little Mix are better than the Beatles. So
exactly.
that argument doesn't work. Just because it's made a lot of money and everything else, it just means people went to see it. But yeah, like I say, it doesn't mean it's good.
No, it doesn't make it. And look at some of the cult classics as well, George. Blade Runner is a perfect example. Actually stunk the box office out. Was considered a flop.
Yeah.
And yet here we are.
The Thing was the
40
same.
years later.
Yeah.
Yeah, The Thing. 40 years later, and they're now. Not only are they classics, but they have heavily influenced cinema for the last 40 years. You're not going to get that. You're not going to get that with Kennedy's Star Wars, Disney Star Wars. You're not going to sit there like we do in 30 years' time and watch The Rise of Skywalker and go, classic.
It was funny, actually. I was in a shop the other day. It sells DVDs, second-hand DVDs and everything else. And I was stood waiting. I was in the S section, so it was under Star Trek. And I saw both The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. And The Rise of Skywalker was £6 and The Last Jedi was £3. I mean, I just thought to myself, if I went up to the counter and they said, oh, you get a free copy of the DVD, and I was like, no.
Yeah, kind of thanks anyway. So that's £9.
No, but it was just funnier how the middle one, The Last Jedi, was cheaper than the last one,
Terrible.
And again, I mean, Return of the Jedi, when that came out, again, it broke all box office records and everything else because people were so eager to see where the series had finished. And like I say, Disney should have been sat there literally on beds of money going, ha, look at what we've done. But they didn't, and it was a mess. And people came. I still came. I've literally only seen The Rise of Skywalker 2-3 times max. I've tried watching it again. I still don't quite get the understanding ending. Whereas with the ending of like Jedi, see, Jedi to me is my favourite of the Star Wars movies. I know it's not the best one, but it's my favourite one. But you come out of it where Luke has proved himself as a Jedi, Vader's redeemed himself, Han and Leia are finally... Everything's all wrapped up in a beautiful little nutshell where it ends perfectly and is great. Whereas with The Rise of Skywalker, so Ben dies but then comes back and gets healed by Rey, and then she dies but then he heals her and then they kiss and then he dies again. And it just sort of... And you still got the whole thing with Rey... Oh, look at me, I'm now a Skywalker. Yeah, just take the name. Even though you're technically a Palpatine, just taking the name is the best thing. It's fine.
Yeah, and that different old bag what's your name, love? I'm Rey Skywalker. Fuck off, this is ridiculous.
Identity theft is not a joke, Ray. That's that brilliant video. Again, if you subscribe to our channel, you'd know that video because I put it up there.
Yes, absolutely. And she's got a gold lightsaber as well. So, it's just pitiful.
And so, like I say, tearing apart the canon on Obi Wan, I said in the article, I bumped into a friend on Friday, and we used to talk about the Mando and all this kind of stuff. And I hadn't seen him for ages, and I said, "Oh, have you been watching Obi Wan?" Yeah, absolutely loved it. And I went, "Hey, yeah." And he said, "Yeah." He said, "Did you not?" I said, "No, I didn't like it." So it messed too much with the canon, took too much away. And he said, "Dude," he said, "you just got to switch your brain off and enjoy it." And it's kind of, I wish I could do that. And okay, we're not like professional film reviewers and stuff, but I mean, I know the difference. Yeah, I know. I know the difference between good and bad. And so if I see something that I don't think is very good, I'm going to call it out. And I'm not going to sit there and just sort of enjoy it. I mean, there are certain films which I have done that. Funny enough, I just watched Jaws 1, 2 and 3. Because I'd never seen 2 and 3, and I've actually got 4 on the go as well. And I expected 2 and 3 to be bad, and they were. And were they entertaining? They were all right. 3 was all right. In a really cringy, horrible, stupid type way, it was okay. I kind of enjoyed watching it, the 3D effects, when not watching it in 3D. That was even funnier. Because obviously just now and then there's a leg floating by and you're thinking...
just a random leg.
Yeah, but obviously in 3D it looks amazing. But... there are dumb films out there which I can enjoy, but the problem is Star Wars, the original Star Wars, is not dumb. It's actually brilliantly clever with wonderful moral stories, with a character arcs for everyone. Even the droids, to some extent, get a character arc in this. Whereas you think about like. Again, I was doing some research on another script I was working on. How John Boyega basically said he was a token black guy. He was in there for a token black guy. He had no arc, apart from the beginning of him turning, dark and then joining the rebels. That was his arc. It was done in the first half of the movie, literally.
And he was a janitor.
Yeah. who was on the Murder Death Squad.
Yeah. But Maddox made a good point. Now he says, some people, like you're saying about switching off, George. Some people just want to come home from work and chuck it on and forget about the day. I mean, I can understand that.
And I do wish I could do that, but I just find it very, very difficult because it's something I love so much. I got a quote on my Twitter, which I saw the other day. Where is it? Hang on a minute. A true fan a true fan of something is able to recognise its flaws and weaknesses, or whatever they like. Why? Because it means they're actually paying attention and invested in the details. And that quote really, really stuck with me because I think that's what Star Wars is about. Like I say, I've grown up with it my entire life. I have loved everything about it. I have read actually some of the extended universe books and stuff like the Thrawn Trilogy and stuff like that. I've loved all that. And so when then Disney come in and, okay, break canon with the sequel trilogy because, if people have read the Thrawn books, it's kind of good to go off in another direction and stuff. But when they just do it so badly and just doesn't make any sense and we don't see, again, if you look on the internet, there is a picture of one of the, I forget her name now, but there's one of the ladies who was in the new Lucas writing team, creative team. Right. And they had a picture of Luke on their wall with a big cross drawn through him because they knew they wanted to kill him off.
I've seen it. Yeah.
And it's, they're taking a character that, it's me, he's you, he's everybody who, if you've loved Star Wars, you've grown up as Luke Skywalker, and they wanted to kill him off, and that's what they did in 2. They made him this old hermit who gave up on everything, didn't care about anything, wanted to just quit, and didn't care about the galaxy, and he's just sort of thinking, what we wanted to see was what John and Dave gave us at the end of Mando 2.
Yeah. Luke, again, feminists. Have you ever seen a happy feminist? No.
But again, it is. I mean, some people. It kind of amazes me actually that some people don't. That somebody on Twitter the other day said about, Star Wars isn't woke and everything else. The new Star Wars, and you're thinking, you can't be that ignorant not to see it.
Yeah,
if they say ignorance is bliss, I can understand why some people were so happy watching Obi Wan.
I can agree.
Like I say, if you're not invested in the details, then just again, another quote. I think I've deleted it now, and I hope I haven't because I need it for another video. And it's no. Let's go back. Hang on, what's going on? Disney Obi Wan. There was a tweet I put up. And I've lost it now. But basically, it was on the site actually. But basically, somebody said they could have quite happily watched 10 seasons of just Anakin and Obi Wan fighting. And you're thinking,
Jesus.
Brilliant.
Okay.
Brilliant. Thanks for that. So you could just literally sit there and watch that because it's Star Wars content. And again, it's the whole content thing of just churning out. They just thought, we'll bring Hayden back. And again, the weird thing is with Obi-Wan, he was barely in it.
Skulking around. It was the Princess Leia show.
Oh, well.
She was a good little actress, though. I'll give her that. She can't run for toffee. I've never seen a 10-year-old run quite so badly. But she's got wooden legs or something.
That video of ours is actually doing quite well.
Good.
Where is it?
But they could. It's the things, Jules. They've done some good moments. I'm not going to say it was all shit. I mean, the bit with Vader stopping the ship with the Force, that was good. He was like, "Oh wow, that's pretty impressive."
And then completely ruined. But you see again. You say that though that was good. It did look impressive, but then I just kept thinking, right, so in Empire Strikes Back, when the Falcon's taken off, he didn't do it. And when Luke jumped down Cloud City, he didn't stop him or anything else. He just let him go. And again, you're sort of thinking, okay, yes, that looks really impressive, but it's destroying the canon of the rest of the movies. And it's funny just trying to see some people explain it on things sort of saying, when Vader jumps down or when Luke jumps off there and he didn't save him, it's because of and it's just like no. It just makes it look stupid now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you even go back to, I'm not going to call it A New Hope. It's Star Wars. When Vader's right behind Luke, just before the Falcon comes in and shoots Vader. Well, if he's that close behind him in his X-wing and why don't you just reach out and just hold Luke's ship there? So there is problems with it. Because again, these people, they've not grown up watching it, learning it, understanding it, arguing with their friends when the kids go, well, you can't do that. You can't, if Yoda can barely lift an X-Wing out of the water, why can they do this? Why can they do that?
It cheapens that. It cheapens that as well.
Right.
It cheapens that moment as well in Empire. Like I say, when Yoda does that, okay, like I say, he's been in exile and blah, blah, blah. And apparently if you don't use the Force, it goes. If you don't use it, you lose it, apparently. And again, that was another thing with with Obi-Wan, how he was kind of weak and feeble all the way through. But the only thing that got him back was remembering, and I have to say this, because this is, I think Doomcott mentioned this, but this is perfectly true. He remembered Leia and all the things that had happened with Leia, and he had like one remembrance of Luke, who the guy he's supposed to be actually, but then he said, but then he uses his emotions to use the Force to protect it. That's what the Sith do. That's what the Jedi are told not to do. It's completely, it goes against all the canon. It's horrible.
And do you know what annoyed me as well? One thing that really annoyed my son Jake, he's a massive Star Wars fan, and he always criticises me when I criticise this.
I apologise for calling him an idiot, by the way.
No, don't worry about it. He's one. When Vader pushed or opened the ground up and Obi-Wan fell into it, and then Obi-Wan's underground looking up and Vader walks over to the hole and he's looking down. Surely, if you want to do some fan service, surely you could have Vader said to Obi-Wan, I have the higher ground now.
Yeah.
Everyone would have gone, oh my God,
He said the thing. He said the thing.
Yeah, and they just missed it. They just missed the absolute easiest trick in the book.
Mannix is said, to be fair, Star Wars A New Hope is an incredibly well-made film. People seem to forget that. I think it won like 8 Oscars, and it was nominated for Best Picture. And it lost out to, I think it was Annie Hall, because I've never seen Annie Hall, just out of respect for Star Wars.
What's Annie Hall?
Annie Hall's a Woody Allen film.
Oh, whatever.
And that won Best Picture that year in 78, I think it was, because obviously they missed it then. But like you say, Star Wars is an incredibly well-made film, because it is somebody who, they thought about it and they went through the details. And like I say, it's not a perfect movie, but they were trying their best to make this epic adventure, which they did, of characters. Which, name one other movie that's got its whole day dedicated to it, as opposed to May 4th is Star Wars Day. There's no other movie that's ever done that. It's created a fandom which is absolutely spectacular, and then Disney go and screw it up.
Yeah, complete revolution. It was revolutionary. Star Wars was revolutionary. Like what I was saying about Blade Runner earlier on. Yeah. Revolutionary films.
Value of Nothing just said, I like it when she moves in and talks softly and then moves out and also talks softly. Is that Leia? Value of Nothing? I don't know who you're talking about there.
Might be Reva. Yeah. But do you know what? I was thinking about this. I was thinking today, sitting on my fat ass watching telly because we had a busy day yesterday. But the whole Reva thing, when I said, get rid of her, the show would have been better without. Do you know, I thought, again, I'm not a script writer, but just as an idea from a Star Wars fan, I'm wondering whether if they got rid of the Reva character, because again, token tick boxing exercise, and brought in some of the bounty hunters, like I'm having to read off my list here: Bosk, Dengar, Forlom. I mean, you even had what's the robot from the first Mandalorian. If you had Vader sending them out to hunt Obi-Wan Kenobi. Well, not only is that a nice nod to Empire Strikes Back, but it also gives you a reason why they were recalled, obviously because we're watching this before the trilogy, why he called them back in Empire Strikes Back to hunt down Luke Skywalker, because he'd used them in the past and they're tried and tested. That would have been a much better show with the bounty hunters, even if they had one bounty hunter per episode hunting down Obi-Wan or tracking leads, rather than this Reva, who it turned out that she was cutting people's arms off and hacking Jedis and threatening to kill people because she wanted to get close to Darth Vader.
Well, not just that, but also she wanted to get close to Darth Vader because of the suffering that he had caused. And she said, I think it's like in the first episode, she said something like, what were the things we've done? So she's obviously been quite a badass and killed a whole bunch of people, just like Anakin. And it's kind of like the whole, if we kill a murderer, then just we're a murderer. And it's just sort of... Again...
And a way...
Go on.
Sorry, mate. I was saying her way to get back for Anakin for killing her youngling brothers and sisters was to kill an innocent young boy who had no idea what's going on.
Yeah, completely random.
Because
And
there was
see,
no
again,
explanation whether she knew Luke was Anakin's kid.
yeah,
Anyway,
again, there was like
it was just a kid.
again another classic line in the brilliant writing of this was when the Inquisitor comes in, when it's kind of like, oh no, he's not dead, even though we know he's not dead because he was in Rebels.
Yeah.
But he comes in and he says something along the lines of, I did make a note of it earlier, but it's something along the lines of, revenge is a wonderful reason to stay alive. Oh, good. Are we going to kill her then? Nah, we'll just leave her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure, it won't come back and bite us in the ass. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
And again, I'm going to say this. I understand the turmoil that that Obi-Wan was going through with his friend Anakin. He had Anakin beat. He had Vader there where he could have killed him. He must know the suffering that Lord Vader has caused, and he has a chance to kill him, but it's not the Jedi way. And you're thinking, it may not be the Jedi way, but at the same time, you're probably going to save like thousands of lives if you kill him now. But obviously, again, there's no threat there because we know what the outcome is.
Well, to be fair, George, it's not the Jedi way. He left Anakin, he cut the geezer's arm and legs off and left him to fucking burn alive.
Yeah.
So it's not the Jedi way. Well, again, this is where they don't understand it, because Anakin, which I thought was actually a great part from Hayden Christensen.
Yeah, he was good.
When he says, I killed Anakin Skywalker, and he's smirking, and he's got his, you can see his eye, and he's smirking. He looks really menacing. Oh, that's just really good. Yeah. So he's literally just said to Obi Wan Kenobi, don't worry about, you didn't kill Anakin Skywalker, I did. And he's actually reveling in it.
Yeah.
So it would have been a perfect opportunity for Ben to go, right. All right, fuck you then.
Yeah, and just if Anakin's dead, that's fine. Yeah, I won't kill Anakin because he's my friend. But if he's not there anymore, then I will kill Lord Vader, the right hand man of the Emperor, the leader of the Empire, who is causing untold suffering across the galaxy. Nah, I'll just leave it. I'm sure it won't come back and bite me. And I mean, but to be fair, somebody else made a very good point with the whole lightsabers these times. They're not really lightsabers. They're more like light clubs. And sticks.
What are they? I mean,
again, he really slices through Anakin, and yet it just puts a cut in his helmet. You'd think it would actually take his head off.
Yeah, well, you've had the Grand Inquisitor stabbed.
Yeah,
you've had Reaver stabbed.
Yeah.
And like I said, he just cut his helmet.
I would have liked it sort of the way the series should have finished is Obi-Wan meeting up with Qui-Gon and sort of like, oh, so how did they go? You'll never believe this. I've seen 2 people stabbed through the heart and survive, and you died.
Yeah, exactly.
Loser. But again, there's kind of there's no threat. There's no tension. I mean, with kind of like the end of A New Hope, because they were all new characters and stuff, the end of actual Star Wars, you were kind of on your edge of your seat because you didn't know what was going to happen, and if it wasn't for Han, Luke probably would have been killed, if it wasn't for Han coming in at the last minute, and so of course you're there on your edge of your seat going, wow, this is absolutely amazing. Whereas with the prequels, when they're doing this, you know who's going to survive. You know who's going to come out of this. You know Obi-Wan's put in danger. My favourite bit was when they were going to torture Leia, and I'm thinking, well, they're not, obviously, because A, this is Disney, and B, she's not going to die because we know she grows up. So
yeah, and taking her down to a special torture chair. Hold on, you're a Sith Lord with the power of the Force. She's a 10-year-old girl who's crying over a baby robot.
And not just that, but also that got me. It's like the scene in The Phantom Menace when Anakin climbs in the Nubian ship, and there's a helmet in there that fits a 10-year-old boy. Like, who the hell was flying that ship? And they're kind of strap her into this thing, and it seems to be made for a child. So obviously they torture children quite regularly, maybe.
Apparently so.
Yeah, but again, obviously we're not going to see that because it's a Disney show, and we've got to keep it all on the up and up and thing.
Yeah.
Maddox has said there, he didn't know he was dead because he never saw Rebels. I've to be honest, I can't stand them. I don't like the animation. They're a bit too cheesy for me. The film threw me off in the first place, which was weird because it was Dave Filoni who originally did it, but I couldn't get into it. But yeah, basically in Rebels, the Grand Inquisitor comes back because Rebels is set after the events of Obi-Wan. So when he got stabbed, it was kind of like, no, I'm sure he'll be fine.
Yeah, apparently Rebels and Clone Wars are supposed to be really good. I don't know anyone that's watched them have said they're bad. They're supposed to be excellent shows. I just can't get into them.
Yeah, I'm the same. The Clone Wars, every time they start with "There's trouble in the Galactic Republic" as Obi Wan, and I just think, ugh, no, I don't like it. Somebody said to watch the last series, which I will put on my watch list, and I will try and get through it. Because apparently that is quite good, and the same with Rebels, and the Bad Batch is apparently supposed to be quite good as well, because that's got Vader in it as well and stuff.
Yeah, but again, though, I think they got like one of the girls, one of the clones is suddenly a girl, and she's the bestest clone ever or something. I'm like, whatever.
Because that was something else they introduced in Obi-Wan was female stormtroopers. There was in the first or second series, third episode. When they were,
when you couldn't go through the gates.
Yeah, when they come to the impenetrable gate that you can't walk around. One of the stormtroopers comes off the ship with Tala, and she's female. And I thought that's a female voice, and it's just again you've got to get this in there because obviously we live in a society where women are just as equal as men.
But she was a terrible character. Was it Talia, whatever her name was?
Yeah, Tala.
She was a terrible character as well. She was just,
I'm sorry.
slapping a stormtrooper.
Slapping a stormtrooper's head. No, that is a perfectly acceptable way of that. When I saw that, the cringe was horrible. I mean, it's just, it was so. Again, what they could have done with her, they could have had kung fu. They could have had anything. She could have carried a knife or a mini, anything at all. And just the way she was done, it's literally slap that stormtrooper and he goes down. What is the point of stormtrooper armor?
Well, I've said this before, haven't I? The stormtrooper gets shot with a blaster and they're instantly dead, even though they've got armor on. And yet she, in the episode where Vader was using the Force to stop the ship, she gets shot in the guts. She's got nothing on but a jumper, but she manages to survive and speak. And then she pulls out a thermal detonator, which she could have used 10 minutes before to blow up. She could have thrown it in with all the stormtroopers that were bottlenecking to come in. And she goes, I'll leave it to the last minute.
That's the bit that got me, was when Reva went through that gate there. And to me, that was kind of like, there was a scene in, I think it's in, not Naked Gun, Police Squad, where Frank Drabin originally came from. And they're shooting each other from behind dustbins and they're literally like 6 feet apart. They can't hit each other. And I'm thinking, I was watching it and watching all these laser blasts flying. I'm thinking, right, nobody can hit anybody else. This is unbelievable. They literally sort of go, pew, no, I missed. Yeah. Oh, I was miles away then,
Yeah, and bearing in mind they're fighting just normal families. They're not even trained soldiers. But
exactly.
They've got this massive laser cannon that they can use to blast through these iron doors.
Which they've just, used. And it's like, but apparently it takes 30 seconds to reload. So,
well, we just go, doors are about to open in about 20 seconds later, charge the bad boy up because there's going to be half a dozen women and kids over here with lasers.
I love the women and kids.
It's just not thought out. It's not thought out at all.
That's the thing.
And we go back to lightsabers, George. That Reaver's put the lightsaber in that steel door, like
gas inside it or something.
Did.
Yeah,
and then suddenly, so it can melt a steel door, but it can't kill someone by being stabbed in the guts with it.
Yeah. It's. I still say it was rushed out. I think what happened was, and I have heard rumours of this, so I don't know how true it is. There's a particular guy on YouTube, and his stuff is very. He talks a lot of talk, but he backs it up with no evidence. So this is where I got this from.
Oh, you mentioned him, yeah.
But basically, he said that. John and Dave said that the Mando 3 wasn't going to be coming out until next year. So Disney were like, whoa, hang on a minute. That means we haven't got any new content coming out this year. And so both the Book of Boba Fett and Mando were rushed out. Apparently the filming schedule, again, this is just rumour, the filming schedule for Mando was something like about 4 or 5 months, where the filming schedule for Obi-Wan was like 2.
Oh, really?
Again, this is rumour. I can't confirm this, but I mean, if that is the case, then Disney are going, hang on, so wait, we haven't got any new Star Wars to get out. Somebody, you, what should we do? Obi-Wan? Yeah, brilliant. No, let's go with that.
Quality over quantity, George.
It's what Disney do. They just need to keep churning stuff out. Yeah, you just need to keep churning stuff out, because how are they going to pay for their monthly subscriptions if there's no content for them to watch?
Well, exactly.
And it is a shame that it's the content itself is just not It doesn't seem to go through quality control. That, even I think Stark said on one of the comments that the script must go through dozens of people, and every one of them said, "Yep, this is what we want to produce. This is what we want to do." It just doesn't make any sense. Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense, though.
Well, do you know what I reckon it is? The what's the latest Matrix film? Matrix Revolutions or whatever it's called. Resurrections. There's a bit in that, isn't it, where they're all sitting around the table brainstorming on ways how to bring back the. I think that's what it is. Everyone's like, "Oh, that's a great idea," but no one in those meetings, no one in those brainstorming meetings has either got the intelligence to go, "Hold on a minute, she's got a thermal detonator,"
yeah,
or the fact that they're all too busy patting each other on the back and licking their own balls, or what a great idea they had. They just don't want to upset anyone.
That's the thing. Is like I say I mean, I've always said that with the prequels, I've always said that the problem was, what's his name, Rick McCallum, the producer. Mm-hmm. He was the one who's as a producer, director obviously has ultimate say, but a producer is the one that oversees everything. At some point in time, Rick McCallum must have read through the script of The Phantom Menace and said, "Yeah, we'll go with that," as opposed to, "George, this ain't great. We should maybe have some rewrites, maybe get some other people in, give it a little bit longer," and done that. He just seemed to go, "Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, this is good." And the same with Attack of the Clones. Because, I mean, the details in Attack of the Clones are just, it's terrible to watch. I mean, it's entertainment, but it's terrible. But again, it needed tightening on that script. It needed people to get into that script and say, "Do you know what? This is not very good. We need to rewrite it."
Yeah, and this is why I think the future, if there is any future left in Star Wars, it's got to be under the stewardship of Favreau and Filoni. Because Kennedy's got a good track record, she's done some great stuff over the years, especially with Spielberg, but she's clearly out of her depth. She's completely bitter and twisted.
The thing is, so I'm going to say with it, I'm just going to look her up here. I'm going to say that from what I've heard, I'm going to have to see a photo of her. My blood's going to boil. Kathleen. She has worked on some amazing movies, but as a producer, I mean, she was married to Frank Marshall, and it seemed from what the rumours are that it was mostly Frank that did the work, as opposed to her. I might be wrong with that. I don't know, but that's kind of what people have said. So just because your kind of name is on something, it doesn't mean you can necessarily take the credit for it. I mean, there's a lot of executive producers on there: Back to the Future, Goonies, Gremlins. See, associate producer on Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. That actually makes me laugh because associate producer, there's a movie and I forget which one it is now, and it's set kind of like in Hollywood. And he said, "Oh, can I get a producer credit?" And he said, "Nah, you can get an associate producer credit." And so that kind of, I've always thought that associate producer kind of doesn't mean anything.
No, T-boy.
Yeah, pretty much. And so,
can you imagine her in the interview leading up to Star Wars though? Yeah, well, I can put Star Wars back on the map and steer it in the right direction. Okay, how are you going to do that, Kathleen? Because I like what you're saying here. Yeah, what we're going to do is 90% of Star Wars fans are boys, and we're going to make them all shit and make the Force female.
Yeah, I mean, everybody loves Luke, so we're going to kill him off.
Yeah, we're going to make him an absolute cuck.
Yeah, yeah.
And shame on you, Mark Hamill, dickhead. I can't stand him.
I'm mixed about Mark, I must admit, because like I say, I do. On the one hand, he is Luke Skywalker, but on the other hand, I kind of. It's the same with like people who keep blaming JJ for everything that went wrong in like the Rise of Skywalker, and it's kind of. I get it. I mean, like I say, if Kathleen Kennedy had come to me and said, "Do you want to make the next Star Wars?" I probably would have said yes. I wouldn't now, but I probably would have said yes. But then I can't imagine, because he's always said that The Rise of Skywalker is not the film he wanted to make. It's
no.
There was lots of it that was missing, deleted, cut out, and everything else, which was down to Kathleen Kennedy.
Well, it was down also that Ruin Johnson as well. I think. I know JJ gets a lot of shit. I enjoyed The Force Awakens. I know it was a little bit of a copy and paste from Star Wars, but it still hit all the right notes. It still got everyone buzzing about Star Wars again.
It's the most watchable of the three. I've been accused on the comment section of the last movie outpost that I absolutely love it. And it's like, no, out of the three of them, it's kind of like the less worse one.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like I feel like he had like a load of boxes of gifts, and he went to Ryan Johnson. Here you go. Here's some bits you can run with. Take them what you will. And then Ryan Johnson went to him at the end of the Last Jedi and goes, "Oh, thanks for that's really useful. Here they are." He's opened all the lids up, and there's just nothing in a bit lumps of shit, different varieties, cat
there
shit.
You go. Have fun with that, all right?
That one in there, that's human shit. That's one of mine. Go with it. Yeah, let's get some horses running across a Star Destroyer. So I don't hold JJ solely responsible for the way this has gone, because I think he was just given a turd and he just had to put some polish on it.
Yeah.
He set the groundwork. It could have been interesting.
Again, I keep going back to Marnie. I do apologise. Yeah, May Marnie. I do apologise. Sort of said, I've read the fan fiction, and this is better than those scripts. The Thrawn Trilogy is brilliant. The bit that really gets me about the Thrawn Trilogy is Luke gets trained up by this mad Jedi at one point because he's looking to do more training and stuff. But the bit I remember is at the end of this, and spoilers, and it's your own fault, blah blah blah. You should read them by now. When they found Luke's lightsaber, they found his hand, so they cloned Luke and trained him to fight Luke. So how amazing would that have been? Can you imagine sort of like, there's been a bad guy after Luke Skywalker, and then when he finally reveals himself, it's a clone of Luke. That would have been so awesome. As opposed to, Palpatine apparently had kids and then grandkids. There's a guy on Screen Rant on YouTube. There's a guy who does pitch meetings, who, by the way, you should subscribe to his channel. He is absolutely brilliant. But he sort of said, so wait a minute, the Emperor has been intimate with a woman? Ooh. Oh, I don't like to think about that. Because again, it's kind of like, how do they have kids and then grandkids? And then, just none of it makes any sense.
Even if you look at the prequels, he's all scarred up with yellow eyes and fucking manky teeth for that. So after he's killed Mace Windu, recruited Anakin and said to Anakin, right, when did you go and kill the kid Jedi? We should go home, put his slippers on. Mrs. Palpatine's there.
Hello, darling. Did you have a nice day? Oh, it's a bit rough today, but
She's like, what the fuck happened to your face? She was fine an hour ago.
Maybe we can use some concealer to get rid of that. It's going to be tough.
Don't ask, love. You don't want to know.
Thank you, Zan. Timothy Zahn. Sorry, I apologise. I don't know what I said, but the Timothy Zahn books, they were brilliant. They were absolutely fantastic, and it's a shame because I don't know whether Disney thought, well, everybody knows them, so we should try and do something different. Whereas, suppose for the people that haven't read the books, it would have made an amazing set of movies.
I think it's money. I think a lot of it's to do with.
I see. Yeah, buying the rights and stuff.
Lucas had royalties in existing characters, which is why they went to this whole sequel and introduced all these new characters.
Fair enough.
That's what I think it was.
Oh, that's fair enough.
Well done, Zach. I'll tell you, Zach knows his onions when it comes to Star Wars.
Oh, yes, he does. What a nerd. So, what do you think is the future of Star Wars then?
Well, there's two possible futures. It either continues on the path it's got with Kathleen Kennedy and Deborah Chow with her paint by numbers directing, and it ends up, with Ahsoka, which is the next show, being an absolute piece of crap and being slagged off by normal fans, or they off them out of it and they put Favreau and Filoni in charge of everything moving forward, which is the most logical thing. They can't keep losing money and losing fans. There's so many people I know. This was the final straw. That's
the thing. Is again, I mean, the movie business has always been about making movies. You can't deny that. At the end of the day, they make movies to make money, and so when it comes to that, like I say, losing the fan base, I haven't got a Disney subscription anymore. I'm not going to say where I get my stuff from, but I haven't got a Disney subscription because I refuse to give them money. Why should I give them money to ruin Star Wars? Why should that's my viewpoint on it. Well, I mean, obviously you've got the other people out there, the other side of because again, we've been working on a little script together about fans versus stans, and a stan is somebody who's kind of like overly obsessed with something and cannot see any faults in it. And there are people out there who think Obi-Wan is the greatest series they've ever seen in their lives.
Yeah. No.
And they're quite happy to give Disney money. And so it's funny because somebody's moan. I've seen people moan at me for being a miserable sod when it comes to Star Wars. Making everybody as miserable as everybody else. But I think to myself, yeah, but you as a stan are giving money to Disney, and so I've still got to put up with this crap whilst you're doing that. If they did all club together, if all the fans just clubbed together and said, you know what, Disney, now we've had enough of this. If Kathleen Kennedy's involved, we're just going to boycott it. Not boycott it, but I mean, funny enough, that's what happened with Solo. It was 400 million it made, wasn't it, or something?
Yeah, it was poor. I don't think it even hit 400.
It was a ridiculously stupid amount of money for something with Star Wars written on it. It should have been a gold mine, but. People started voting with their wallets and realising that what Disney was producing was crap.
Well, I mean, I wrote the article the other day about it, talking about the possibility of season 2. What do you mean a possibility? It should be a given. There should be seasons 3, 4, 5. If you've done it properly, it's not. Oh, we're thinking about. We looked at this series as a one-off. No, you didn't.
What made me laugh
was being an absolute gold mine.
What made me laugh was, along with your article that you said about them making another one, I think there was in Variety or somewhere or other, they said that Kathleen Kennedy has said that they would do a second season if the fans wanted it. And it's kind of funny because it was literally 6 to 8 weeks ago that they were calling all the fans toxic, and they were all going to be slagging off Moses Ingram
and racist,
racist toxic fans. But all of a sudden now it's kind of like, well, actually no, we're going to listen to the fans, and if they do want a second series, and it's kind of like, well, make your mind up, because 6 weeks ago we were all horrible, toxic, racist, but now you're actually kind of interested in listening to us.
Yep. They've got no idea.
I've always felt incredibly sorry for Walt Disney, because I've said this many a time, but I mean, Walt Disney himself was an innovator. He was an artist. The man was tantamount to a genius. I mean, everybody said you could not make a full-length animated film, and he put his own money into it. He nearly went bankrupt making Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, which then went on to, and so Walt Disney himself was a brilliant man who wasn't interested in the money. He was interested in making art. And so all the stories had to be right and all the details had to be right. And he was passionate about it. Whereas Disney today is gone just completely the other way. It's all they are focused on is making the money. If they happen to hit a good story, great. But if not, it doesn't matter. It's, as long as it makes money, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's exactly it. He's probably turning over in his icebox, old Walt. What's going on with his company?
Yeah, it's a real shame just to think that the guy set up something which it's world famous. Everybody's heard of Disney. You could go to the deepest, darkest tribes in Africa, and they've been to Disney World. And yet nowadays, like I say, people are cancelling their subscriptions to Disney Plus. Who in a million years would have thought that would have ever happened?
Well, especially when you consider it's not just Disney content they have Star Wars, and they also have Marvel.
Yeah.
That Doctor Strange, if we go back to the beginning when we were talking about financial success doesn't make it a good movie. Doctor Strange apparently coined a billion this time, but I don't know anyone I think that's seen it have gone, oh yeah, I've watched that again. Apparently it's crap.
Funny enough, I saw it was on streaming and I was just I watched it in the cinema. And it was all right. It just wasn't. I love Sam Raimi as well. And again, it was just kind of the nitpicky little details, and kind of like I say, I do hate watching things as a reviewer because I am picking things to pieces. But then, oddly enough, there's some stuff that I can watch where I still watch it as a reviewer and then thoroughly enjoy it.
Right.
Somebody asked me the other day about what were my favourites this year, and the one that particularly sticks out to me, I did the review on the website, was RRR. Whatever you want to call it. It was fantastic, and there was bits in there which were just not perfect and everything else, but the story was brilliantly told and really compelling, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to Marcel the Shell with Shoes On.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
I'm looking forward to that as well.
it looks utterly ridiculous of just basically a little shell with shoes and goes around, and the voice is done by Jenny Slate. But I'm thoroughly intrigued by it, and I'm hoping I'm going to go and enjoy it. And like I say, there are still times when, as a reviewer, I will look at something and I'll be very technical over it. If it's a good piece of entertainment, happy days. If it's not, then it's just disappointing.
Well, that Marcel, is it Marcel with the shoes on?
Marcel, yeah.
Yeah, Marcel. That looks good, and it looks like a throwback to the original Disney Pixar stuff. Just innocence, fun, and innocence. No, there's no need to discuss what's going on with Lightyear, but where things were just fun, family-friendly cartoons, animation.
I think I've said this before, but I mean, A24 are not interested in the money. They just want to tell stories. And it's funny, like you say, with Marcel's show, Pixar were the same. A story about a man whose house lifts up with balloons and he goes to the jungle. And you think, right, I'm not interested in that. But the first 5 minutes of that, you're crying your eyes out. How they tell the story with no words about this young couple falling in love, and then the wife dies, and you're sat there the first 5 minutes going, "Oh, it's just really beautiful," and you're thinking, again, it's storytelling at its best. Whereas they're not trying to tick boxes and all this kind of stuff. They're just making fabulously brilliant. And like I say, A24 are like that. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. Again, it's just another brilliant example. Because you weren't a massive fan, were you?
Of what, A24?
No, of Everything Everywhere All at Once.
No, I thought it was good entertainment.
But no,
I didn't think it was. I think I gave it 3 stars out of 5. I think you gave it 5, didn't you?
Oh yeah, one of the best movies of the year for me. It was brilliant.
It was a bit much for me.
But with it, again, like I say, A24 are interested in telling these wonderfully bizarre stories. They're not ticking boxes. They're not checking stuff off. With an A24, what I love about A24 is you can go into it and have absolutely no idea what you're going to watch. You have no idea what the end result is going to be, and that's what's brilliant about them. Whereas with Disney, there's going to be token this, token that, female so and so, blah blah blah, and all of these boxes are being ticked literally as you go along with them.
Yeah, I think so, and I think with their Marvel stuff as well. I'm not a big Marvel fan, but for me, their films will just cut and paste. I mean, you've got a new Thor coming out in next week, is it? I think it looks like.
You're breaking up.
Crazy. Have you seen the trailer?
Oh, what's happened?
What about now, mate?
Hang on. Oh, you went all weird then. Sorry about that, everybody. Eggy just had a funny 5 minutes.
I'm back again.
It's the internet in Britain. It's terribly bad.
The Spitfires are flying over and interrupting the signal.
Say that again about Thor. Thor 4.
So you've got Thor coming out next week, is it? 2 weeks' time? And the trailers and the other bits and bobs I've seen just looks like the most ridiculous shit I've ever seen. It looks pathetic.
I must admit, I did like Thor. But what was the third one? Whatever the third one was.
Ragnarok.
See, I thought that was quite decent. I like the way it tied in as well with Endgame and everything else. It was pretty decent. No, he didn't have a stroke.
He didn't have a stroke.
He did have a stroke. He couldn't reach. And like I say, I quite like that. I know a lot of people said that he didn't like what he did with Thor and stuff, but it was a good piece of entertainment, and I kind of think Thor 4 is going to be fine.
I think it's going to be rubbish, mate.
I kind of think it's going to be rubbish, but I'm going to be entertained by it.
I'm disgusted. Have I broken up again?
No, you're right.
Yeah. I think what they've done with the character of Thor is a joke. I mean, clearly, I'm a big Superman fan.
Yeah.
And I would have been livid if they'd done what they've done to Thor to Superman.
No.
And crying about getting his hair cut in the last one, and this one, you just silly handshakes and looking into Star-Lord's eyes. It's just an embarrassing joke. And you've got these giant goats, and it looks like the biggest piece of shit I've seen so far. I'm not going to go and see it. I'll wait for it to stream.
I am open minded about it. Like I say, I haven't passed judgment yet. I try not to. I mean, it's kind of it's a horrible way we live in this world, because kind of everything's ruined for you before you even get a chance to make your mind up on anything. There was a new movie come out. I can't think what it was now. Something recently that was supposed to be coming out, and people had already ruined it for me, and I was kind of like, no, I just want to make my own mind up. That's like I say with my Sail with shoes on. I have no idea what to expect from the story of that. I've seen the video that went viral, and I really liked it. I have no idea what's going to happen with the story, and I love that going in blind, so you don't know what you're going to get. With Thor Ragnarok, like I say, you see this. The same jokes coming up, the whole thing with Chris Pratt and it's just
cut and paste every single time. What's made it? Ragnarok was great and was killed by Infinity War because he needed a weapon again to channel his power. I just think what they did to Thor, make him a bumbling man baby.
Again, it was comical. And so I was entertained by it, but then I've never been like that invested in Thor, and so I let it go. And it's kind of the same, like coming back to Star Wars. I'm invested in Star Wars because I've known it my whole life, and so because of that, I really care about it. And so if they are going to mess with the canon and the characters and everything else, that then gets me annoyed. And so I can understand why some Thor fans who are kind of read the comic books and really into him and stuff. I know a few people have sort of said they were really angry with the way he turned out. I understand where they're coming from.
Yeah, I think I'm not a big Thor fan, but I think he's meant to be more of a Shakespearean kind of character, like he's Norse mythology, and one of the reasons they got Kenneth Branagh to do the first film, because obviously he's got history in that kind of production.
In the theatre and that kind of thing. Yeah.
And what he is now, like I say, just a bumbling buffoon, just a big white man baby. And that Taki Wati, what's his name? Who's the director?
Takiti Wakati, I think.
Yeah. Again, he's just another one-trick pony, same crap every single time. And he's supposed to be doing a Star Wars film. Can you imagine?
No.
What that's going to be like?
Get it right. He's doing a Star Wars trilogy.
Brilliant. Oh, is that just going to be after Rian Johnson's trilogy?
Well, no, obviously Rian. It's funny because people still think Rian Johnson's going to happen, and obviously it's not. He's still credited with writing on IMDb, but I mean that's just not going ahead. All the movies have been cancelled at the moment, apart from Takiti Watiti, whatever he's called. I do like him. I mean, I'm a massive fan of Flight of the Conchords, which is like the original series that he did. I love it's brilliantly done, and I love that the sense of humour in it and everything else. It's really good. But when you're then taking on something like Star Wars, fine, it can have moments of humour, but you can't make a comedy. This is funny enough. This is one of the things that failed about the Phantom Menace. In the director's commentary on the Phantom Menace, you listen to George Lucas, and he was saying about Jar Jar at the end with the whole battle going on. He was going, I wanted him to have like a Buster Keaton quality, and you're thinking, that's great, George, if you're making a Buster Keaton film, but you're not.
Yeah.
Exactly. I know people moan about the Ewoks, but at least with some of the Ewoks, you actually saw them die, and there was kind of like a little bit of sadness with them. That yes, they were being stupid because they're furry little creatures, but you still kind of cared about them. Whereas the CG Jar Jar and everything else was just like it was like I say, it's a Buster Keaton, it's a Charlie Chaplin. He's what is he doing in the middle of a battle?
Well, even the kids didn't like Jar Jar. I mean, we grew up with obviously the original trilogy, so by the time the Ewoks come along, what year was that, George?
83.
83, so I would have been 9. You would have probably been around the same sort of age as well.
To me, it's my favourite because it's the first film I watched. I remember watching in the big cinema, not the homemade one I had. It was like the first time I was seeing the big one.
But when you saw the Ewoks, you thought they were quite good because they were fighting back. Obviously, they had silly moments, but some of them died. But when you skip 20 years to when we got Jar Jar, I think even the kids were like, "Oh, he's a bit crap."
Yeah. My favourite line of that is from Simon Pegg in Spaced, where he says, "Yeah, but Jar Jar makes the Ewoks look like fucking Shaft."
It's true.
TK might be great with Star Wars It is a possibility. He delivered very. Somebody also mentioned. Sorry, there. Maddox also mentioned he made What We Do in the Shadows as well, which was again I thought.
Yeah, I've seen.
But again, that's kind of done in that mockumentary type style, and that was what kind of worked with Flight of the Conchords and What We Do in the Shadows. I must admit, I haven't seen any of the TV of What We Do in the Shadows, the series of that. I don't know.
No,
it's just not interesting.
I've seen the film,
but the film is quite good, and I mean he might be good with it, but I just I if anything now new comes out of Star Wars, I am going to go into it with very low expectations. I mean, very low expectations. My worst case scenario would be just Kathleen Kennedy going for 6 hours. So if it's better than that,
I thought she was expecting the reception to Kenobi was to give her Mandalorian Luke Skywalker moment, and it's not worked.
Yeah, no, not at all. I mean,
she was.
According to some fans, it has, because like I say, some fans think it's the best Star Wars thing that's ever happened in the entire universe ever.
Everyone I know that's our age, George, when we go to the pub and everything else, we have a little chat. Because they always say to me, "Oh, what did you think?" So, I'm honest with them, and everyone's like, "Yeah, it's all right." And like Maddie mentioned earlier,
yeah,
if you get home from a busy day's work, you want to sit down and just watch a little bit, Star Wars for 45 minutes and Darth Vader being a bit of a bastard, then it's good TV, but you're not going to look back on it and go, yeah, that was actually an awesome show.
Yeah.
It was average at best.
Zach's made the point there that he said he won't do another Tatooine movie. Again, that's something else that they need to do. Is I said in the last review of in the last episode review this Wednesday on the site that it was kind of like we went back to Tatooine. Oh, thank goodness for that. We'd not been on Tatooine for 3 or 4 episodes, and I was getting a bit worried. Yeah. And again, it's kind of Tatooine is great and everything else, but there are literally like billions of other planets out there we could explore, and it was kind of it was the same thing, funny enough, like you say, this in the Multiverse of Madness, that it was a shame that they teased that whole moment of the multiverse, for literally a minute in that montage, and then they just end up in another place where they stay there, and it's just
I've not seen it yet, mate.
All right, it's not, I'm not spoiling much in that, but basically the multiverse is in like 2 places. And there's one little montage where we get teased it, which looks quite good, and you're going, oh, let's go there. Oh, that looks, but they don't do any of it. And it's just,
really?
Yeah, it's quite a shame. As opposed to Everything Everywhere All in Once, where they kind of everything was set in that, obviously in the tax office or in the thing, but they kind of really played with the whole multiverse thing in that respect. Yeah, it won't be a tattoo. I'm pretty sure that, like Zach says, I'm pretty sure that TK is going to be doing like a whole brand new trilogy. So it's going to be not based around anything that we know before, unless they do some fan service.
I see Zach said he might be great for Star Wars. Well, possibly. I mean, we had the dude that done Joker for Batman. He come from doing The Hangover.
Yeah,
and then went into that. And if you go back to who directed Silence of the Lambs, didn't he do like a rom-com or some romantic film before he stepped into that?
What's his name? I want to say.
So there are directors out there that can turn their hand and surprise us, but I think Hollywood in its current form won't allow Takeiti, whatever the fuck his name is. I don't think they'll allow him to do it because he's that tried and tested formula that brings them money, and that seems to be all that matters at the moment.
That is kind of the problem. That, like you say, it at the end of the day, the studio's got to make money out of it. I keep going back to A24. That's one thing I love about A24 is yes, they know they've got to make their money back, but they don't care about it. It's kind of Everything Everywhere All at Once, was the biggest movie that they've made and everything else. And it was just, I don't want to say it was lucky, it was just because it was a brilliant film and people went to see it and minds were blown because it was like you say, there's no ticking off boxes. Everything is completely weird. There's butt plugs which give you superpowers. All this kind of stuff is going on. But again, you're watching it going, this is quality entertainment. This is just brilliant. You are thoroughly enjoying every minute of it. Whereas, like I say, with Disney, it is more about just getting the content out there.
Yeah, exactly that. And Everything Everywhere at Once, whatever it's called, it was good. And to be honest with you, George, it was probably the most original film I've seen for a very long time. But it was just a bit much. The
Yeah,
last
no.
20 minutes or so was a bit much for me. I was like, oh, can't end it now.
Yeah. It's
But it was good. But
you say that, funny
Disney
enough.
won't do it.
I heard the other day that Elvis is 2 hours 40. And I do think, man.
I'm going on Wednesday to see that.
I want to see it, but 2 hours 40, even, I miss the 90-minute movies. That really annoys me.
I like the 2+ hours.
No.
The Batman, for example, 3 hours.
It's the same with them Stranger Things. It was just too long. That last one episode was 1 hour and 40, and I get bored in 90 minutes.
Oh, yeah. You get bored after one episode.
Well, it depends. Like I say, if it's not dragging me in there. I did watch this week, completely off subject, Man vs. Bee, which, weirdly enough, went kind of the other way because each episode was only like 10, 15 minutes. And I was like,
oh, right.
I could have watched more of that because I like Bean, I like Rowan Atkinson. I thought it got a bit schmaltzy towards the end and it didn't quite finish particularly strong, but the rest of it was quite entertaining. But I was like, seriously, you do either 10-minute episodes or 1.5 hour long episodes. Just get a happy medium in there somewhere.
Yeah. I'll tell you what I've been watching, going off subject as well. The Offer, which is about the making of the Godfather movies with Miles Teller.
So it's like a dramatised
Juno
version.
Temple. Yeah, but it's really, really good. It's directed and produced by Dexter Fletcher.
Yeah.
He's a big name in England. He was
Yeah.
a child actor, wasn't he? Done
Babyface from Bugsy Malone. Yeah, he was Babyface in Bugsy Malone. But yeah, he did. Well, a few people said that he directed Bohemian Rhapsody because he took over from Bryan
and I
Singer.
think he's done Rocket Man as well.
Yeah. But yeah, he's a very talented guy. I like him.
It's a good show because we've just got Paramount Plus here in the UK.
Oh, okay.
For those in America that listen, George obviously knows. Yeah, so if you subscribe to Sky, which I do, that is the one thing I do subscribe to because of football, you get Paramount Plus for free.
Yeah, right.
So I've been watching that. Yeah. And I've literally watched about 6 episodes. I've done nothing all day but sat on my arse watching that.
I use a VPN to get around that, so I get things like that, and Hulu is the other one. And the one on Hulu, this week's episode, absolutely nailed it, was the Orville. Absolutely.
Orville, I've still not got into them yet.
Oh man, this new series, honestly, I was jaw dropped at one point. It was fantastic.
Oh, really?
Absolutely fantastic. And again, they're telling quite moralistic stories of the whole like gay marriage and all kinds of stuff like that, but it's done in a way that's not rammed down your throat. It's just done in a way which is just
very poor choice of words there, George.
When you grow up. But yeah, it is. The Orville is fantastic. I cannot sing its praises enough. It's
on my list.
Brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. And so I've been enjoying that each week. Right, okay. So, Man vs. Bee sounds like a mouse movie from the 90s. Funny enough, it reminded me of Tom and Jerry in places. That kind of thing. Like I say, it lost it a little bit at the end. That's just me being maybe overly picky. But Rowan Atkinson's brilliant. He's a very funny man. He will always be a very funny man. And like I say, it was quite a good series.
National Treasure as well.
Yes, exactly. Righto. I'm going to call it quits because we've done an hour and a half.
That's good, mate.
And I'm bored now. No.
I've got dinner anyway.
Yes, I must admit, I'm feeling a tad hungry. Well, it's a shame we couldn't see Yoda and Sean. Sorry, they will be back with us soon. Yoda didn't do the entertainment news this week as well. I did offer, because we need a British contingent back on the news, because it's much more honest when it's spoken with an English accent. But yes, Sean and Yoda will be back soon, and so forth. I've done a close before. So, that was our Outpost Frequencies. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for joining in the chat. It was absolutely wonderful to have everybody contributing today. Really good chat. Thank you, guys. We will be back next week with more chat. We're not sure what about yet. If you're interested, go to thelastmovieoutpost.com and post some comments on the talkback, because it would be appreciated. And also subscribe to the channel, because if you don't, we will kill a puppy. No, it's not that one anymore, is it? It's just
Not allowed
it's
that.
nice.
Allegedly kill a puppy.
Yeah, if you do subscribe, we'll cuddle a puppy. No, but do subscribe to the channel. We are trying to get content up all the time at the moment. Both myself and Yoda are doing what we can. We have got controversial movies that we've been doing. We have been doing celebrating 1982 and all sorts. The Imperial News Network, exactly, Zap. So yeah, please subscribe to the channel and let everybody know, and share the video and tell your friends. And if you don't tell your friends, then you probably don't like them very much. Any last words, Eggy?
Not really. Thanks for tuning in, Maddie, Zamp, and what was his name? Mine Army.
Yeah, like I say, it was really nice watching Last
Good.
Man on Earth next. I've not got into that yet.
Don't know what it is.
It's the remake of the. Yes, I'm going to say the Mouse movie. Or Nathan Lane. Oh yes, it is very much like that. The Mouse movie. Mouse Hunt. That's what it was called, isn't it? The one with Lee Evans and
Oh
Nathan
yeah,
Lane.
I know the bloke.
Directed by Gore Verbinski, which I remember, and I can't even remember the name of the movie. That's so stupid. George Armbrand with the helmet. Yeah, I know, it's Ace, isn't it? That side. That there. Yeah, my helmet there. And I've got a lightsaber just there as well. And also this side, I've got that's the original Family Guy Blu-ray of Blue Harvest. Blue Harvest. And I've even got down. Oh, you can't really see them very well down there. That's an original X-wing from 1980.
Keep hold of that, mate.
I know. Never going to get rid of that. But yeah, sorry. Yeah, right. Thanks, Zap. Right, hang on. Go to the Last Movie Outpost because it's really good. You can find me on Twitter at NotGeorgeLucas1, and I always talk about movies and post funny stuff, and I'm really great. Yeah, Yoda's at Drunken Yoda 1. So you can follow him, although he's not on there very often. I'm quite active on Twitter, so come over and join us. But guys, thank you very much. Eggy, thank you very much. And
thanks, sir.
we will see everybody soon.